Although Apex nerfed Pathfinder in Season 5, I still believe that Pathfinder is the most powerful legend in the game if you know how to use the grapple correctly. You can easily escape, change your position, play defensive or aggressive whenever it's needed, and even get a solo win if you know how to use the grapple efficiently. I personally started playing Pathfinder since Season 2, and now finally I can confidently call myself the Master of Grapple in Apex Legends. When I was learning my way around Pathfinder, I remember how hard it was for me to learn the mobility and movements with grapple, and it took so long for me to become someone who can confidently use grapple in different situations. Because I had went through this journey myself alone, I understand how hard it is to learn how to use grapple without a proper guidance. So I have dedicated this video to show you 7 methods which you need to know in order to use the grapple properly in any situation. I promise you that if you understand these methods, you can become a pro Pathfinder player too and enjoy much more by playing this legend. So let's dive into the video without any further delay. Hi, my name is Damien and welcome back with another video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and if you like this type of content, you just need to hit the subscribe button, and also if you hit the bell icon you will be notified as soon as I drop my new video. Just before we start, I highly recommend you to use the firing range for your practice, because in firing range you can use the grapple multiple times by changing the legend after using the grapple each time. But in the game, as you may know, they nerf Pathfinder and you can only use the grapple every 35 seconds. That's exactly why I asked you to go to the firing range and practice there, because it saves you tons of time and you can speed up your learning process faster when you can use the grapple more. The first type of grapple that we all know is simple grapple. By using this method, you can travel from point A to B without any specific direction. I would only recommend it for the beginners because it's the most basic usage of grapple. The second type of grapple, which is one step more advanced, is to using the grapple with the jump key. This method may seem to be very easy, but in my opinion, I believe this is the most important method to use the grapple. Because before you learn the other methods, you must get comfortable with this one first. You need to get used to maximum distance that you can grapple and know when to use the jump key so you don't miss your shot. So in order to find the maximum distance, you can just come here and stand in one spot and find your aim in the farthest distance when it's blue. As you know, if your aim is white, that means the distance is too far and it's not going to hit the ground when you use grapple. Just remember, the farther your range of grapple is, the farther and quicker you will travel. So the way to do this method is that you would need to stand here and find the maximum range that you can grapple on the ground, and when you hit the grapple you have 1 second to use the jump key to do this method right. In other words, when you use the grapple, as soon as it hits the ground, press jump, then you got it. In the next method, I will explain why you need to be comfortable with this method and why this type of grapple is so important to be learned first. The third one is swing grapple. In this method, it's important that you know and have gotten used to your maximum range of grapple, because the longer range your grapple is, the farther distance you can travel. Now you know why knowing your maximum range of grapple is so important here, because in a fight you have no time to estimate whether or not your grapple hit the object. Now for this method, I have a very good way of practicing for you. I would ask you to come here and start using this rock as a point of your object. So what you need to do is to use your maximum range of grapple to hit the rock, and before it hits you need to look at your left, and when the grapple is pulling you, start to move your aim from left to right in a circle motion, and you need to assume that you're giving direction to your movement and try to come to the edge of this rock. In order to give your legend the right direction while you're in the air, I want you to do this practice with Octane's jump pad. So this is how you should be doing it. So if you want to go to the left, you need to press left movement and guide your aim to the left, and if you want to go to the right, you need to press your right movement while you're aiming to your right. The fourth method is Swing+Jump+Grapple. This method is a combination of the second method, which I mentioned is the most important type of grapple, plus using swing to reach the maximum distance that you can travel even farther than the second method. In order to do this type of grapple, you need to follow the instructions for the second method and the third method, which is jumping plus swinging. The difference between this method and second method is that it gives you more acceleration, and when you swing you can go a farther distance. Now I have two tips for you here which I noticed no one mentioned anywhere on the internet. These tips help you travel even farther. The first tip is that when you're aiming your grapple on the ground, you can only hit the grapple if the aim is blue, but when your aim is white you cannot use the grapple. So the way you can reach a bit farther is to hit the ground even when your aim is white. But in order to do this, you need to start moving and using your grapple, but aim slightly one step beyond the blue point where your aim is white. As you can see in the video, my aim is white, but I can still hit the grapple by this technique. This requires a lot of practice to know what is your maximum range that you can hit the grapple while your aim is white. That is exactly why you must be really comfortable with your maximum range of your grapple, because if you want to do this type of grapple, you really need to be used to it. My second tip, which is very important, is that when you want to go forward, instead of grappling right in front of your legend, give your aim a bit angle so you can get more swing. So in this way, because you will swing a longer distance, then you can have a higher acceleration, so you can have more speed and you can slide more distance to travel farther. So using these two tips can help you to travel the maximum distance possible, which I'm 100% sure most of the Pathfinder players don't do the same. The fifth method that you could use the grapple and is very dependent on your situation is when you drop from height and you want to use your grapple instantly. As you may know, when you drop from a height, your legend has an animation when it hits the ground, which slows your legend down and it makes it difficult to escape from a bad situation. This method is to prevent that animation, and this is how you should be doing it. So when you're falling, you should use your grapple in a way that when your legend hit the ground, your grapple must have already hit the ground at the same time. Then if you jump, you can just easily escape that animation. So in other words, as soon as your legend hits the ground, your grapple needs to hit the ground too. Then if you use your jump key, you can do this method right. Another method that I want to talk about is Swing+Jump+Grapple for a short distance, but to travel the longest distance possible. The way to do this is when you want to use the grapple, take a step or two back, and as soon as you hit the grapple, follow the same instructions as Swing+Jump+Grapple. By going backward, you can make your distance to your object a little farther, and this can give you more acceleration to travel more distance. It may seem very situational, but in my experience, it can be very useful sometimes. At last but not least, the seventh method is to use your grapple properly in order to go in any place in high ground. Do not forget that with Pathfinder, you need to position yourself mostly in high ground, because you know that being in high ground is always an advantage and people cannot reach you that easy, and as you know, reaching in any place in high ground is really easy to do with Pathfinder. You can use Swing+Grapple or Swing+Jump+Grapple in order to get any high ground, but it totally depends on your position where you're on the ground. I usually use the Swing+Grapple method when the height that I want to go is very long and I need to use my maximum range of grapple with swing to enable me to travel that far. But another way that I use to go above the building is when the building is not that high. I use the Swing+Grapple method with jump because it gives me more acceleration, then I can travel faster. So I'm pretty sure that if you learn these methods, you can do this type of grapple really easy too. But there is one point that I would like to mention before we end this tutorial today. Sometimes it's really good to discontinue your grapple because maybe you don't want to travel really far, especially for high grounds. So the way I do is when I want to get a position in high ground, I try to land very clean because I don't want to be in the air for 2 or 3 seconds and let the enemy to shoot me. So in order to discontinue your grapple, you just need to press your grapple key in whatever platform you are, and as soon as you press, it just discontinue the grapple. I totally understand that at the beginning it might be hard and it may take your time a lot to practice, but just know it's a normal learning process and it personally took me few seasons to become a master at using Grapple. Now you can see why even though Pathfinder has been nerfed, I still believe it's the most powerful legend in the game if the Grapple is used properly. I really hope that I was able to explain it well to you guys since English is my second language, and I hope it's comprehensive. I also have a short video for you guys at the end of this video which you can find some examples for using Grapple in different situations, so please feel free to check it out. After you watch this video, if you know any other kind of method that I didn't mention, comment it down below and let other people know about it. And also don't hesitate to ask me any question in the comments because I'm always here to answer you. Please do not forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and also if you like this type of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you hit the bell icon, you will be the first one to be notified as soon as I drop my new video. Thank you for watching my content and see you guys in the next video.